Hi, welcome to Crafternoons. I'm Joanna. Today we're going to be making paper sunflowers. Tissue paper flowers are a really fun and inexpensive decoration you can make. You can use all different colors. Today we're using sunflower colors, but you can literally use any color tissue paper you want. I'm using a 20 by 26 sheet to start with. You just make different folds and cuts. Those are all in the instructions, which will be available here at the library. You can stop in and pick up directions if you like. For today, I've already cut my sheets. So you need to do a 2-color flower. You need 2 sheets for your middle, 4 sheets for your petals, and then 2 sheets for your stem colors. Again, can be any color you want. You just need this many sheets of paper. So what we're going to do first, you stack them up the way you want your flower to be. So I have my green paper on the bottom for my leaves, my petals are in the middle, and the inside color for my sunflower is going to be on top. You're going to stack them all, and then you're going to fold them accordion style. So you just start making folds. You should end up with 6 or 7 folds depending how big your folds are. I tend to make mine a little bigger because it's a little easier because you're going to be separating all your tissue paper into your different layers. So you just accordion them all along. And then your end fold might be a little shorter. That's fine because once it's all unruffled, you won't notice it. So make those nice and tight. And then once you have your accordion, you're going to separate them. Just pull your 2 leaf colors, your 4 petals, and then your 2 inside. Then you're going to refold along the folds you've already made. Now we're going to cut them. So what you're going to do for your middle part of your flower, you want fringy cuts. So you literally, I just take a little off the ends just to make sure they're even. And then you're just going to cut down about 2 inches to make little fringe. You don't want to cut them so thin that they're going to be hard to pull apart, but you're going to do that on both ends. So let's just cut these, and then we can go back and trim them at the end if they aren't even. All right, so that's your inside. Next, you're gonna do your petals. So you fold up your paper again. For your petals, you're gonna make round cuts on the end. So again, I just trim a little bit just to make sure that all your edges are even. And you're gonna start and just cut a petal shape, a rounded petal shape, like that. And again, you can go back and you can trim it up a little bit if you don't like it. It doesn't have to be even. So you do the other side, same way. You make your rounded petal cut. So then you've got rounded edges on both sides. And then for your stem leaves, you're going to make a triangle cut. So after you trim your edges, and you want to kind of make a really big triangle because the sharper your cuts are, the sharper your petals stand out. So you can make a really big triangle cut. Doesn't have to be completely even. Once everything's fluffed out, you won't even notice. All right, so once you have cuts, you're gonna stack your papers like you originally cut them. So this can be a little tricky. You just gotta kind of line it up the way you want your flower, the colors to show up. So just stack them back up. They kind of fall right into place, so it's not as hard as I'm making it look, or it actually is. All right, So then once you have your papers back, you're going to re-accordion fold them all together. They should just fall right in line. So this is what you're going to end up with. All right, so then you're going to staple it. Or twist tie it, or whatever you want. We're going to put a stem on it at the end. You can put your stem on it now if you don't have a staple. Just something to hold it all together there. All right, so then you're going to flip it over so that your brown or whatever your center color is going to be on top, and you're just going to fan it out just a little bit. You're going to take your top layer, which should be 2 sheets, and you're going to separate them. You're just going to very gently separate them because the fringes have a habit of, you can rip those very easily. So you just separate them and just pull it to the center. And then you're going to go back and pull the second layer up to the center. You can pull it nice and tight, especially if you hold it closer to whatever's holding it together in the center. And then you're going to see, like, there's a cut I missed, so you can go back at this point and just fringe cut any thick pieces that you have, because we're going to scrunch these up, so it's not going to make a difference. So there's your center for your one side. Then your next layer are your petals. Again, carefully pull them up closer to the center. Makes it easier to pull. You just keep pulling and kind of fluffing them up. They'll get a final fluff at the end. Gets a little tougher the more layers down you go, so you just have to keep pulling up from the center so you get the most tissue paper showing. And then you're at your petals, your green part. So again, same thing, just pull it up, separate it as you go. Last layer. There's half of our sunflower. Again, we'll fluff it at the end. So then you're just going to flip it over and you're going to do the same thing to the other side. Fan it out first, stretch it out, and then you're going to separate your center fringe layer. Maybe. Center is the hardest because all the fringes like to intertwine. Pull from the center. And then I see I've got some longer ones again, so I'm just going to give those a quick cut. All right, now we move on to our petals. Just pulling from the center. Not so hard though that you rip your tissue paper. It is very easy to rip it. If it rips, don't worry about it. It's gonna all be fluffed up. You won't even notice it. That's the fun part about these paper flowers. You can manipulate them and fluff them and cut them, and nobody even notices any mistakes. All right, so we are down to our stem leaves. Just separate them. Oh, I just ripped it. We won't even notice it. And then our last layer. All right, so this is our flower. As you can see, our center is a little longer than our petals. So what we're gonna do is just trim off some of that in the center. Just trim it down, and then you're going to kind of scrunch it to make it look like the seeds in the center. So you just kind of scrunch that down, and then you just go back through and fluff out your petals. You can manipulate it around, close up any gaps you've got. Then you take a pipe cleaner and just thread it around through the gap. You can do this early on if you want, or you can do it at the end. I probably should have done it early on, but then you just refluff anything that you've mashed down, and you have a paper sunflower. Again, you can use different tissue papers. There's different cuts you can use to make different types of flowers. You can do roses, you can do tulips, you can do all sorts of fun flowers. So this is your paper sunflower. If you have any flowers you'd like to make, at the end of our presentation is our email or our phone number. You can just email us, let us know any crafts you'd like to see, any flowers you'd like to try. There you go, paper sunflowers. Thank you for watching.